Hi Aries, welcome back to your new moon in Capricorn reading for January 21st, 2023. This is Jupiter Rising Tarot Cafe. My name is Susie, and new moons bring in new cycles. So let's see what cycle is coming in. First of all, you have the Hermit card, which is your theme for the next 2 weeks. The Hermit is the energy of reaching out, getting information, taking that information and digesting it, and coming to your own conclusions, coming to your own wisdom. So it is really gathering information or knowledge and kind of sifting through it, deciphering it, coming up with your own energy. You could be alone a lot, or you could just be very internal a lot for the next 2 weeks. But what you get, the information that you receive from the Hermit, is imperative. I think it's really important, especially when you're doing soul searching or trying to get answers that are deeper than superficial level. It does mean, though, that you can have some alone time, and it means that you could also feel a little bit isolated. But what you gain from it, the self-discovery, could really mean a lot. You might also withdraw from people or from situations that you would normally be very active in. So maybe you have a group that you would go to quite often, and you might just opt out for the next 2 weeks, or just be a little less active in the group than you normally are. And like I said, even if you are in the group or in a group situation, you still might feel very isolated or in your own energy. I personally don't think it is a negative card, but I don't have any I don't have any problem with being alone. So in fact, I quite like it. So I rather like the Hermit card. Okay, so let's see what the new moon is bringing in for Aries for January 21st, 2023. You have the Lover's card. That's always a crossroads for me. And you have the Hanged Man. Two major arcana cards, so this is an important period for you. Which makes perfect sense with the Hermit card as far as I'm concerned, because we really are going after some information. And if you are at a crossroads, you have to make a decision, and you might be finding it difficult, then these 2 weeks are crucial to the Hermit card, in that you want to gather as much information and really sit with it, really digest it, so that you can come to the right conclusion or the right direction that you want to go into. And so that's going to be the next 2 weeks, I believe. You have the Hangman along with that, and the Hangman is indeed kind of being suspended for a bit. Things are not in your hands, and so I don't even think you could make this decision if you wanted to right now. Things are not in your hands with the Hanged Man. And that is so that you can change your perspective or see another perspective. This is the Odin card, who he gave his eye for knowledge, and that's exactly what we're searching for here. Now, two major arcana are really saying that this is something very much on an internal level. So I do think that the Hermit card is really saying you're going to kind of go within in the next 2 weeks, 2 to 4, but I'll give it a 2 week period, and you can decide after that. Let's get some more cards, and then we'll pull it all together. The magic usually happens at the end, but follow me. Okay, so this is you and how you deal with the situation. Yeah, you're kind of moving on, walking away from it for now. This card is very often about things that have maybe given you in the pleasure in the past, or things that you've accrued or accumulated, don't seem to hold that emotional energy anymore, and you could walk away from it or move on. It can be with a heavy heart, this one, and in fact, you even have the two, so this might be a 4. 4-week period because you have both the crescent and the full moon here. I think the full moon's going to affect you quite a bit. And so it could be a nice 4-week period that you have to deal with this, at least on some level, or at least feeling this kind of need to walk away from old emotional baggage, but also, things that just don't serve you anymore or don't bring that emotional response that they used to. And 8 is the number of energy, so it's really putting a lot of, I would say in this case, emotional energy behind leaving something behind. Maybe even abandoning something that you really loved to do, but for reasons that are your own, you kind of have to let it go. It doesn't really, well, you have another 9 here, so the Hermit is 9, and you have a 9 with the 9 of Swords. With this card, the planetary alignments could have a lot to do with what's going on. And again, we have the Hangman here, so that really kind of correlates with the fact that things are out of your hands right now. And even if you tried to effect a solution, you probably couldn't at this time. Be like sort of spinning your wheels or giving too much energy to something that won't find its completion in this period. But this is a thought that runs kind of rampant in our minds. It's a story that we can tell ourselves, that we build it up, and it might just be not as difficult or not as hairy as we feel it could be or think that it could be, because we're talking about swords here, and sword is thought and action. But maybe the scenario isn't as bad as we think it is. And once the planets move on, maybe this situation does as well. As I understand it, this is probably, I think it's not the easiest new moon that we've dealt with, but Capricorn is very much, the Capricorn card in the tarot deck is the devil. So those are things that snag and break and don't just gel the way we want them to, or things that can go wrong. But it's simply to show us what is going wrong and what we need to release. And I think that's kind of what's happening here as well. And how will you, what is the result of your actions? So again, this is the card of sort of like reliving a situation that isn't completely true in our heads constantly. It's worry about that. You may have some difficult sleepless nights with this card. The moon might be doing that, and you just might feel that for a short period of time, because the moon often creates difficult sleeping patterns for us. So hopefully that just goes over after a few days after the new moon. Oh, nice. You have the Star card. So whatever, again, another major arcana card, so very internal happenings. But the Star card is things that are under a lucky star. The future looks bright. There's inspired energy and hopefulness with the Star card. Again, something's under a lucky star. Let's have a look. Ooh, you have the Magician. So double yes with this card. Really nice. The Magician card is telling me that you get control back after a bit. The star is far away, so that always says within time you get the control back. The Magician is what you think about, you bring about. And oddly enough, it's kind of similar here, because you're giving up control to release something that isn't good for you and get you back in control. And that happens in the future. It's under a lucky star. So whatever you're doing here is quite in your favor, whether it looks like it or not. But let's go further. So the Magician card is keeping your focus on what it is that you want. And I'm going to say with the Star card there, it is something for the future, but it's also keeping your thoughts in line with the hopes that you have. The Magician can be manipulative, and depending on your perspective, the Hanged Man, is that good or bad? Again, your perspective. You can manipulate energy for the good of things. You can manipulate people for your own uh, for your own good, I would say. So let's get some more cards and find out what's going on here. With the Lovers and the Hanged Man, you have the Page of Cups. This is my Pisces card. This could be someone that you are deciding on. If it is the Lovers, maybe you want to be with this person, maybe you don't. But for me, the Page of Cups, and again, the Lovers, yes, there's love involved if that's the scenario. If it's not, it's just major crossroads that you're at. And the Page of Cups is all about expansion. They want to expand the mind. They want more information. He's talking to a fish. They want more information, and they get it in unconventional ways. He's talking to a fish. So, or she's talking to a fish. So it really depends on you, Aries. I think you have a little bit of both. I think because you are a pioneer, you can go the unconventional route, but you also have this thing of tried and true and, what works best. But I do feel like you are somebody who likes an adventure and who wants to explore new territory, that kind of thing, new ways of doing things. With this Page of Cups, there can be insecurities about this crossroads that you're at, or about the decision that you need to make. And also, the Hanged Man is associated with Pisces. So it's a double Pisces. And very often, Pisces will rely on higher powers to make decisions or to see them through. Kind of like the will of something higher, something greater than myself, with the Page of Cups. But I do feel like this is an expansion of the mind and the spirit, because it's a major arcana and it's internal happenings. All right, so let's get a clarification for the other one. This is things coming in quickly and leaving your situation quickly. So they can come in and leave just as quick. This is probably actions that can be taken too quickly, or maybe that's a fear. Especially with the Hanged Man there, because the Hanged Man takes its time. And you may be asked to take a quick decision on something, and that can leave you feeling rather insecure with the Page of Cups. But in any case, the Knight of Swords is something, it is very often the knight in shining armor that comes in to save the day. And I think I'll get one more card for that to see if that's the case, or if it's just something that comes in quickly and leaves just as quick. Well, you have a Queen of Pentacles there. So it is definitely somebody coming in quickly and can leave just as quick, or has information for you. And you have the Ace of Cups along with that. So that's interesting, because if you are letting go of some old emotional baggage, this is also saying similar things. And it's done in a very practical way with the Queen of Pentacles. So the Ace of Cups is emotional overflow, but it can also be releasing some of that old emotional stuff. And with the two of these together, I have that feeling that it's more along that line. The Queen of Pentacles, again, is a very solid individual, very practical, but this is my Aquarius card. And Aquarius can be, for me, like, they call it New Age. I kind of call it Old Age, but it's ideas that are not conventional. They can be, because they can be the nurse or the nutritionist, that type of person, but it can also be somebody who does Ayurveda or healing modalities, energy work. So, but still very, very practical people, very practical individuals, and they can just get the job done. So I have a feeling that it's, for me, it feels kind of like you can get emotional, but then it passes quickly. Or something comes up and then it passes quickly. You get your grounding again with the Queen of Pentacles. It's a very interesting dynamic, this. You walk away from something, it feels bad, but then you let it pass and you do something practical and you allow some more to be released. And it's kind of like the same pattern that goes. So it's almost like you're um, doing a wash, rinse, repeat. That's kind of my feeling for the next 2 to 4 weeks for you. But this is how you are dealing with this situation. So as soon as something comes up, you can identify it, deal with it, move on. Next thing comes up, identify it, deal with it, move on. But this is really giving you a nice empty cup so that you can allow the future to come in. You can allow this to come in, the Star and the Magician, which is really an amazing pairing. So let's have a look at that. Again, if this is a choice in lovers, a choice in love, the Ace of Cups is saying you're clearing out some old stuff to allow somebody new to come in. So it's very possible that's exactly what's happening on a romantic level here. All right, the Magician and the Star, clarification. Yeah, look at that. You have a King of Swords. So this is a couple things. This is my Libra card, so it could be somebody with a Libra temperament. These are people who are very highly, highly, highly logical people. They make decisions with their head. They think about it. They usually leave the emotions out. That doesn't feel like what's going on here for me. I think you're very much in your emotions. Even though you can find your grounding at some point, it always kind of goes back to the emotion. And especially with that Nine of Swords card there, that's a lot of mental worry. But this King of Swords would put a stop to that mental worry and would probably not give too much credence to his emotional. But they're just logical people. Doesn't mean they don't have emotions. It's just they are more logical than they're over emotional. And so this can be you, but it can also be the person here that we're deciding on, and this might be the person we take on, is this King of Swords. In which case the Page of Cups is somebody who is unsure, but they also can dive into a relationship too soon, and then later on figure out that that's not really what they wanted. But the King of Swords, quite logical. I want to get one more card for that. Nice. So you have two aces, and you have the Ace of Pentacles here. So this is definitely a new path you can go on. It can be offered to you by this King of Swords. So we're looking also at the Knight of Swords. That is somebody who comes in to save the day. And the Queen of Pentacles is somebody who has a good financial stability. So she is the queen of luxury. She is the queen of, but practical as well. It's practical luxury. She's somebody who would prefer quality over quantity. And she's really kind of looking and deciding on this Ace of Pentacles that is being offered to her. It's not the same thing that's happening here, because here it seems to me like it's what should I do, where should I go? It's not in my hands right now. But later on you get that offer in the future that looks extremely good. And this can be a financial offer, it can be work related. Nice. So with two aces there, you have maybe some new energy coming in on an emotional level, and certainly some new energy coming in on the financial level, or a new path that you can take. And it comes because you keep your mental... So the King of Swords is somebody who has mastered his mental energy. He's mastered the mind. And this is exactly what's going on here and what you're doing in this area, because this is you and how you're dealing with this situation, and this is what comes of how you're dealing with this situation, and that is somebody who masters their mental capabilities, their mind. And you get that new path because you have mastered that. The magician as well. The magician masters the mental. It is associated with Mercury, and Mercury is the mental. The magician focuses his mental energy on what it is he wants to create, on what he wants to manifest in this world. And it looks like you're manifesting something really nice. Well done, Aries. Well done. All right, so let's see what Spirit wants you to know. So the Hermit is really taking time to go within. I really feel like this part has a lot to do with the Hermit, and these are the conclusions that the Hermit comes to and is richly rewarded for it. Now, the Ace of Pentacles is just it's a new path that you can go on. But if you continue to feed it with the Magician energy and continue to keep your thoughts consistent, it can turn into a big money tree later on. Okay, what does Spirit want you to know? The King of Swords. Same thing. Same thing that I just said. Now, this can be an individual who comes in to help you, to offer you something, but it also reflects your energy of mastering the mind. And that's exactly what's going to happen here. And that makes perfect sense with the Hermit for me, because you're internalizing things and you're mulling them over and you're digesting information and you're coming to conclusions. And it looks fantastic for you. Now, this can have a lot to do with Mars going direct, and finally, we're not hanging around waiting for things to get started again or for things to get moving again. They are actually getting started and they're actually moving forward now. And there is going to be a period in the coming year where all of the planets are going forward, and that would be maybe the star card, where everything is kind of under a lucky star. Everything's moving forward simultaneously, and that will be a period of manifestation for a lot of people, or for everyone, actually, if you want to get on board that. So we could be looking at that time frame. But I think what is important right now to focus on is this releasing old emotional baggage, finding your grounding, finding the balance, and doing that until we clean up a lot of, in this case, what I see is emotional stuff. Okay. Very nice. I hope this has been helpful. I will be back in 2 weeks with the full moon reading, doing the dailies. Thanks for listening. It's very much appreciated. Have a great 2 weeks. I wish you the best. Take care.